All right, welcome on into this episode of First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued by each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today we'll be taking a look at Grand Valley 266 out of Michigan. Council was formed in 1936 as a name change, formerly the Grand Rapids Area Council 266, and lasted up until 1975 when it merged with Timber Trails to form West Michigan Shores 266. Obviously, with the announcement for CSPs as official signia in 1970, and then this council merging in 1975, there was not a lot of time for them to produce council shoulder patch issues, so there are only 3 issues out of this council that ever existed. We do have all 3 of those to look at today, as well as one reproduction that was done by the national office. So let's head on over to the patch table to start taking a look at the set here from Grand Valley. So here we have the very first issue, the T1, is defined by its dark blue border, dark blue background. We've got dark gold lettering and dark gold fleur-de-lis, and notable are the straight sides on the patch as far as the shaping as well. Really great blue color here, not one that you see very frequently at all among CSPs or first CSPs. I think it really stands out, and I think matched with the dark gold, it's just a really awesome pairing. Obviously, not an overly intricate patch here, just a great simple representation. Look at the back here. It is the older style gauze cloth backed patch. And this will be the only CSP that Grand Valley produced that has this dark blue border. The rest of them all transitioned over to having a white border. So there is the T1. Let's take a look at the T2. T2 follows the same format as the T1. Obviously, we've just changed up some of the coloration. We now have a white border. The dark gold has just transitioned to gold for the lettering and the fleur-de-lis. And we can see that the dark blue twill is now just a blue twill. Manufacturing techniques for the T2 are the same. So we see the same style gauze cloth backed patch for the T2. Kind of look at a comparison here between the original T1 and the T2. You can see the difference in that dark gold for the lettering and fleur-de-lis, and you can see the just gold color on the T2. Obviously, the background going from dark blue to blue lightens up quite a bit as well. Before we look at the T3, the last patch that Grand Valley actually produced, there is a reproduction for this council as well. So the national office did do a reproduction, and we have that. We're going to take a look at it. What's curious about Grand Valley is that generally the national office was making reproductions of the first patch issued. In this case, that would be the T1. But for Grand Valley, they did not follow that pattern, and instead they did a reproduction of the T2. I do not know the story behind that or why that's how that happened. If you know more about that circumstance, by all means, let us know in the comments because I find it's fascinating. Usually the national office was reproducing the first patch from the council, and that's not what happened here. Let's take a look at this reproduction. So it does look like the T2. We are going to find head to head that the blue twill here is going to be considerably lighter, but the same white border, same gold lettering and fleur-de-lis, same shape. We do get quite a bit lighter twill, and as is the case for most of the national office reproductions, it is going to be denoted by a plastic back. So we see this is the TUA, and we've got the plastic back there. If you've got a picture of the back, obviously it makes it very easy to identify, but even if you don't have a picture of the back, seeing the differences here between the T2 at the top and the TUA at the bottom are pretty easy. The font text looks quite a bit thicker on the authentic T2, And obviously the color of the twill really does stand out. We have kind of a blue twill on the T2, and the TUA really goes more towards almost a baby blue. And I'm not really sure why the national reproduction is of the second patch and not the first, but that is just how it worked out. Again, if you know more about that, I'd love to hear the story, because I find it a fascinating exception to what we usually saw out of that time period. All right, we've got one more to look at, and that is the very last patch they produced from this council. That is their T3. Here we've got the same white border. Now we've moved back to the dark blue background, and our lettering and fleur-de-lis are still just gold in color. So it really kind of is taking the original styling and putting it in the format of a standard shape CSP. This one too, again produced in that same era, is going to be a gauze cloth back patch. So this is the T3. You can take a look at it as far as the comparisons of blue to the original T1. Ends up being just probably a shade darker, but fairly similar. And again, we can see the difference in colors between what was the dark gold lettering and fleur-de-lis on the T1 versus just gold lettering and fleur-de-lis on the T3. But those are the patches for Grand Valley. Again, taking a look at a focus here on the first issue T1. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Again, we drop new videos every single day. Hope to see you back here tomorrow for a new video. But until then, I hope you all have a great rest of your day.